For years I wanted to replace this commercial looking lights in my laundry room, and it's my laundry room, so I sort of forgot about it or just haven't been at the top of the list. But it's happening today. I'm gonna be swapping out these lights for something cooler. And before we do all that though, we gotta do one quick thing, and we gotta survey the place, make sure what I'm trying to do is possible. So I'm gonna roll the intro and I'll see you in the attic. All right, so let's go where no one wants to go. Definitely gotta be careful when you're walking in these attics. Make sure you're stepping on the trusses and avoid your AC ducts. All right, so I actually got a pretty wide open attic in here. Trust me, I've been in many attics and I know this is not the norm. Back in my days as a technician, I used to spend a lot of time in the attic running wires. So right now my laundry room is like down there somewhere. We need to get in there, but we got to get around all this AC duct. I think I have to go like all the way down there and probably come back up here. It's just too much of a challenge to crawl over these things here, and I don't want to break anything. You may not want to come up here, and this is probably a job for a professional, but if you have a little bit of confidence, you can do this. So what I want to do here is move up some of the insulation and see if I can find the circuit for the light that's going to that room. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty close to this AC vent, and I want to say I should be about right here. So there's my light fixture right there, and that's all we want. We just want to see where we're at. Once the installation is removed, I know I have this entire area to run wires. Now that I'm done with surveying the attic, I need to turn off the breaker and also turn off the light switch in the room just in case. Now I can remove the light fixture so I can see the entire ceiling. With the cover off, I can now disconnect the wires going to the light fixture and cap those off. This light fixture was mounted with two of the longest toggle bolts I've ever seen. All right, so this is a representation of my laundry room, and this is the big fluorescent light that I have in the room. So right now, our electric is coming directly to the center of that. What I want to do is take this out of here and add more lights. Because we only had one light in here, we need to do some wiring. And currently, the wire is coming to the center of the room. So what I'm going to do is we're going to tap off of that. So I know my wire is coming here and it's going here. So what I'm going to do now is add a wire from here over to here. And then we're going to add a wire from here and go back to this one. And this way we don't have no more than two wires at each location. And then we're going to staple these down along the way, and we're going to cut in a few junction box here. So even if we change these lights in the future, we'll have our junction box there to put in whatever light we'd like in the future. But right now we have to rewire this to try to improve the space. First thing I need to do here is measure out the room and get an idea on how the space is laid out. The junction box looks centered in the room, but it's slightly off. In order to keep things simple, I'm gonna stay in line with that light. For the first location, I'm gonna measure from the light to the wall, and the center of that, I'm gonna put my first junction box. On the other side of the light, the distance from the wall is not the same. So what I'm going to do is take the distance from this junction box to the light in the center and carry that over to the other side. Now after marking the junction box on the wall, I'm going to cut that out using a drywall knife. I'll then add an enclosed electrical box within the hole and tighten it up. If you've never seen these before, there are little wings inside. When you tighten the screws, the wings swing out and locks onto the drywall. After I marked the second box on the wall, I double checked with the laser just to make sure I was in line. Then I cut this hole out and installed the second junction box. With the two junction box installed and aligned with the existing junction box, I'll need to go in the attic now and wire this up. Anytime I go in the attic for an extensive period of time, I take a piece of plywood, a bottle of water, and an extra light. And anytime you go into an attic with insulation, you definitely want to make sure you're wearing long clothes and a mask. These are all dead now, but when I first moved into the house, these are the spiders we were dealing with. And honestly, this was one of the smaller ones. They were bigger. This is the existing junction box that I'll be tapping off of. And here's the first junction box I installed. I have a roll of 14-2 electrical wire here, which is what's installed, and I'll be jumping that from the existing box to the new junction box. After cutting the wire to length, I'll need to push this through the ports inside the junction box. These junction boxes have 4 ports on them, so use 1 wire per port. With the wires in the ports now, I'm gonna work my way back to the other junction box. Just remember to keep the wires on the side of the truss. Even if it's out of the way, you don't want anyone stepping on it and potentially damaging the wire. So I'll use these staples to secure the wire in place, and this way they're tight and out of the way. So 2 junctions down and 1 to go. I'll be routing the end of the loop to this junction box. So here it is, I've strapped the electrical wire down and running it along with the other one. Now that I'm back into the cool air, we can see the wires hanging out of the attic, which was pushed down. To prepare this for the light fixture, I'll need to cut the wire to length, then use the utility knife, score the jacket, and cut it off. I'll be installing these LED ultra thin disc lights from Parmita. These can be used as a light fixture itself and also as a bulb to your existing light fixtures. Although the LED panel is a bit smaller, the light area measures 5 inches across, and the entire fixture is approximately 7 inches. The kit comes with 3 wire nuts, 2 sets of screws in different length, also an E26 threaded adapter to connect to your existing lights, and these spring clamps if you have recessed cans. These lights are very easy to install, as you'll see in a second, and they come with a 5-year warranty, which makes this very attractive. Although I won't be using this setup, you can connect the adapter to the lights and use these hooks to clamp into your existing recessed cans. This hookup is straightforward. You're going to connect color for color using the black to black, the white to white, and the green to the copper wire. I'm using wire nuts to secure the splice, which is very typical, but if you're against that, there are other connectors you can use that are even simpler. You can use connectors like this that you'll simply push the wire in instead of twisting them and covering the twist with a wire nut. After making the connection, install the fixtures using the included screws. Once the fixture is tightened, you can take the cover, place it on the light, and twist it to lock it. For the next 2 light fixtures, I'll be repeating the same thing. Instead of 1 wire being there, I'll have to deal with 2. But you'll make the connection the same way, hooking up color for color. Before we can call this complete, there's one more thing we need to do here, and that's patch the holes in the ceiling. Since I have joint compound, I'm going to use that, but you can also use spackle as well. So this is pretty good, pretty nice, tacky state. Next, I'm gonna take like a piece of paper towel. I'm actually gonna wet that. The hole here is not that big, and I could possibly just fill that with joint compound, but I'm gonna take the wet paper towel, stuff the hole, and then go over it with the joint compound. It's tough to match the texture on the ceiling, but we can try. One thing I can do to make this sit better is to feather out the edge. Once this dry, it'll turn white, but I'll also touch it up with some white paint and it should disappear. If you ever thought about adding lights or updating your space, hopefully this video was able to give you a little confidence to taking care of that. If this video left you still a little uncertain, I'm gonna be doing a video in the future showing you guys how to add light to a space without any existing lights in it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, I'm Glenn with DIY Creators, and I hope to catch you on the next one.